Hi, I'm Kristin, a librarian here at Massanutten Regional Library, and for this month's craft kit we are going to be making this little trinket dish. I say this one, but you can make it any sort of way that you want. In your kit you're going to have about a pound of air dry clay, which is probably more than you need, some acrylic multi-purpose paint in antique gold, a little bit of Mod Podge to kind of give it a nice hard shiny finish when you're done, and then a foam 1-inch brush, which you just know I love these things because they're so versatile. At home, I say you're going to need a rolling pin, but to be honest, I have not used a rolling pin. I keep forgetting to find one, and so I've actually been using this jar to roll out my clay. You'll need a bowl to use as a mold, and then you will also maybe want a knife to use to just kind of even up the edge before it dries, but that is totally optional. So with that, let's get started in making our bowl. Okay, so you should roughly have a ball when you receive this already, but if you don't, just kind of roll it up in your hands and make a nice ball out of your air dry clay. Then take your rolling pin or whatever other implement you have on hand, like me here, and just kind of roll it out like you would be rolling some dough. Kind of, you want a roughly round shape, but it doesn't have to be perfectly round. Now I'm doing this on a table that has like a kind of smooth, hard surface, which is ideal. This is pretty easy cleanup with soap and water as long as it still hasn't dried yet. I would not do this on a table that has like wood grain because you're going to end up with clay all in the wood grain. But it should be okay on a table like this one that's nice and hard and smooth. So once you've got this rolled out, about a 1/4 inch thick should do it. You will take your bowl and put your clay in your bowl. Whoops. Mine is very thin and plastic and not very heavy, so it's not staying put for me. And kind of just shape it down so it fits the bowl. Gently press it so you don't get too many fingerprints in there. Now if you do it the size of the bowl, like if you want it to be nice and tall, which is a little taller than I want, you could probably just use the edge to cut the clay off. But what I actually found was good was to take a knife. This is a craft knife, but honestly you could use a butter knife because this is so soft. And just kind of cut around the edge and pull it away. And then you'll just want to leave that to dry for about 72 hours or so until it pops away from the bowl easily. All right, so after we've dried about 72 hours or so, we should be able to pop right out of our bowl neatly. If it's not completely dry, it's going to hang into that bowl, so you want to give it a little more time to finish drying. As you can see, the edges are a little bit wavy. If you want to here, you can actually use like a piece of fine-grained sandpaper to just kind of smooth the edges out. If you don't mind that sort of rough look, you can leave it as it is. So we're going to take our acrylic paint. This is antique gold colored. I just thought that would give it a fun, like, rustic look. As you can see, I have something to work on, so I don't paint the table. You can do whatever designs you want. You could paint the outside and do patterns on the inside. You could paint the inside and do patterns on the outside. You could also, just paint the whole thing gold if you really like that plan. But I will start with just doing a solid coat on the inside. As you can see, it should take pretty easily to this material. And we'll just go ahead and paint the whole inside and then do some patterns on the outside. The bowl I used in the example, I actually used a Q-tip to paint the little circles on the inside. So you could use all kinds of fun things at home to create a design. If you have Q-tips, if you have some sort of, I don't know, ribbon that you want to dip and make shapes with, like you could do all kinds of stuff with this. Okay, so after you've painted your bowl, like I said, you're gonna want to let it dry first, turn it upside down, paint the outside, and then after it's completely dried, which should only take about an hour for this paint, make sure you wash your brush with soap and water while it's still wet, and then we're just going to do a coat of Mod Podge over it, which kind of just gives it a nice finish, kind of protects it, makes it a little shiny, and literally all you have to do is dip in your brush and just paint the whole thing. As you can see, it goes on white, but it's going to dry clear and shiny, and it'll just give that a nice looking finish. Like the paint, the Mod Podge, as long as it's still wet, you can clean up with soap and water. So I'm using the same brush that I used for my paint. I just washed it with soap and water first. And you can do the same with this after you finish Mod Podging. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Mod Podge actually suggests that you let your bowl or whatever you put it on cure for 28 days before using it. So really for best results, you know, before you start throwing change or keys or whatever in here, just give it about a month to just sit tight and dry out. And as you can see, you can do any sort of size, any sort of pattern, really very simple, but the sky is the limit in terms of design. So have fun, and we hope that you will post your creations online and tag us in your pictures because we just love seeing them. So until next month, happy crafting.